Oh, God. Alright. Miss my computer. Okay, I was going to talk about Father's Day, but, I mean, the thing is, someone posted a thing on my Facebook page the other day about how no matter how your parents affected you, growing up, that you always miss them when they're gone, and that's true. You do. And there's been some weird stuff happening, like, the last couple weeks, that, I don't know, that just let me know, I guess, that my dad is around. I often forget about Father's Day. I remember it all the way up through until the very day that it occurs, that it's on, and then I'm like, oh, and I don't know, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. My father, I mean, it's like, it was so hard. When he was around, he wasn't really present. I mean, wanted you to focus on him. So, and then, for instance, when my mother left and came here, we finished up the school year, and my father drove us here as per her request. And then he stayed here. And I used to think that when people were homeless, that it wasn't a choice. I mean, obviously it is a choice in some way because it's as a result of certain decisions you make. Okay, everything is a result of certain decisions you make. You do have some responsibility towards yourself. But I never met anybody that I thought would make the choice. Just, and I used to just think my dad just, kept taking hits and whatever, and then he had to deal with things a certain way. But it's taken me a long time to realize that he, in fact, made the choice. My mother says that he lived in his van and that way for so many years because he didn't want to pay child support. Well, okay, I could see that because my father, he had a nasty side, but he was also mentally ill, and I think that had something to do with it. And I don't know. And then I think it is also, to a certain extent, self-punishment. But anyway, he's been gone 11 years now, and it is true that I miss him. I'll just talk about something that I remember. I had a scooter that I was required to use, a rascal type scooter that I was required to use to attend East Bay. And once I graduated, it came home with me. My father stayed there because it's like my mother said, he didn't. It was about him. He didn't like being told when he could do things and what he couldn't do and when to do them. And so he would insinuate himself into a situation. He didn't like my mother telling him that he couldn't see me or my brother So he would just show up. And one afternoon he showed up and he was tinkering around with my scooter, and I wanted to say, no, Dad, don't do it. Uh, just leave it home. I don't need anything. And, he decided he wanted to modify the steering column, and in the process actually broke it. Okay. Normally he was good at toggling things, and I was very angry at him over that. He didn't ask permission. He just went ahead and did it. Okay. He asked me. He said, why don't you go get me a Pepsi or whatever? And this was not. He didn't really want a Pepsi. He just wanted me to leave so he could do what he wanted to do without asking permission, because that's the way he was. All right. So I came back and it was messed up. It would start and stop, and it was because of what he had done to it. It wasn't because it was exposed or anything. We had a carport, so it wasn't because it was outside. I had issues with that because I got another scooter later, and we didn't have the ramp or any way to get it out of get it up the steps and inside the house. So eventually that one broke too, and I didn't get one after that. I pretty much walk wherever I go, and I have my reasons for that, but it's just there's been some weird stuff that has been happening lately that I don't really think is coincidental, and I can't get into it. No, I mean it's personal, so I'm not going to really get into it. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's not what I think it is. So, anyway, I guess I really shouldn't give my mother as much a hard time as I do, because a lot of the time she had to be the mother and the father. My father just had trouble functioning as a human being, let alone trying to be a parent. And I think to a certain extent that when he looked at me, he saw what he could have been. To a certain extent, that's, the way I feel about it. It's either, I could be wrong, but that's the way I feel about it. Anyway, and that's the other thing. It's been like 11 years, and there was a period of time in my life when I just really had a hard time. His death really affected me on a deep level. And I remember when he died that I didn't cry. And I remember thinking, what is wrong with me? And my sister said that, well, maybe you just cried enough. Because my father, I had a strange sense of feeling like I had gotten gypped, and like, a sense of relief, because it seemed like he just suffered and suffered and suffered and suffered and suffered. And a person can only take so much of that. And yeah, some of it was self-inflicted. So I've had this strange sense of feeling like I got gypped. And relief. He never really even said that. He never said that he accepted me. He did on his deathbed in as much as he was capable of doing. He found out that I started painting and all that, and was like, he pretty much let me know he was okay with that. But and that was as close as I was going to get to him saying that I was okay as a person. And sometimes that's what happens. It's I think it's one of my biggest lessons as an adult, was to learn that people can't People, it doesn't matter what you expect of people. They can only give you what they can give you. And sometimes it's lacking, and then it reminds you that they're human. I love both my parents. Okay, that's it. This is getting a little way too emotional for my ass. Bye.